Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hormone Helper podcast. I'm Coach Andrew, your hormone helper from Fit for All Fitness. I personally coach over 1,600 men and women to help better understand their hormones so they can lose weight and get their metabolism back on track. With this podcast, you're going to hear from me and my special guests about everything from metabolism to thyroid to weight loss. And we even talk a little bit of sexy time as we chat to spread more knowledge, thick like butter, on your hormones. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to share, so let's do this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Getting Real with the Costa.
Yeah.
We're super excited. We do these now on a monthly basis. I just feel like it's better. Yes, this is episode number 19 already.
400 episodes?
Over 400.
Holy cow, you have 433 episodes? What?
I know. I've been putting out a podcast every single day.
That's phenomenal. I love that.
Yeah, I committed back, and I think it was July.
Easily 63 episodes.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna put out a daily episode because I don't know. I love listening to podcasts and I love learning on podcasts. And side tangent, podcasts are great, but what's even better is actually applying the tools.
Yes.
And I was actually just talking to one of my clients about this today, and she's like, she's in my program. And I was just reminding her, you're in this program because you don't want to just learn information. You want the support, you want the accountability, and that's what's going to create the transformation. But I still think, podcasts are a great way for people to learn your vibe, learn your energy, learn your method, and then for them to obviously go deeper into the coaching containers. You know what I mean?
100%. I think on that note, kind of before we dive into what this, what we did this entire month, I think too, people get into these cycles where you learn such valuable information that you almost want to keep consuming almost, right? And you're consume. I want to hear all this stuff. I want to hear all the information. I want to be informed. I want to know what the next thing is. But it's after you consume, at some point you have to then turn it and you have to create, you have to make change. You have to take that action. So yeah. I agree with you 100%. Some of the best resources, best knowledge I've ever found have been from podcasts, right? But it's then on you to, take that time to go implement and take that action. So I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, it's December 1st when we are recording this episode, which is crazy. It's the last month of the year, but this year has been amazing, and November has been really amazing as well too. We should kind of just talk about our month. It was so interesting because at the end of October, Andrew had his event that was extremely successful. I launched my Root and Rewire membership. And yes, literally it was the day before, but when we were leaving that day. And ever since then, things have just been so good, just nonstop amazing in our business. And I was actually joking to Andrew, and I was if I hit this specific number in my business this month, let's book a trip to Costa Rica. Let's book a trip to Costa Rica. And it was so it was such a high goal in terms of, what I'm kind of used to. It was so far out, not out of reach, but it was a big goal.
It was basically almost 2.5 times what the highest number you've ever made.
Yeah. So it was just
that's the funniest part about it, right? We were just and we got so excited too, and we were we'll do this for Costa Rica.
So it was I set this crazy goal for myself financially, and it was such a huge goal that I was kind of just laughing, and I'm if I hit this goal, we're gonna go to Costa Rica. And Andrew was well, why don't we hit the goal together? And I'm I can hit it on my own. But we ended up, if we hit this goal together, then we're going to book a trip to Costa Rica. And the funny part is although this goal was such a far stretch for ourselves, we actually surpassed it by quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And it's, the reason I just wanted to share this is because sometimes it's so exciting and so fun to just play in this energy of like, what if this happens? Like literally, we're just kind of like kidding to ourselves and joking to ourselves. Like, imagine if this happened in our business. Like, imagine if we hit this goal, like almost like as if like it's so far out of reach, like LOL if it actually happens. And then it almost like creates like a higher expectation for yourself, and you're not attached of like, oh, I better hit this goal or I'm a failure, but it's like, let's just have fun with it. And throughout the entire month of November, we were just like playing in this energy of like, what if this happens? And like, oh my God, it'd be so much fun. And it's hilarious because like I said, we surpassed that goal, and we're actually not going to go to Costa Rica because we got some travel plans for next year. We're going to go to Japan and potentially Belize, which is going to be amazing. But sometimes that also goes to show you what really matters, because what really matters to us is like the impact that we're making and changing our clients' lives. Like this goal that we reached is a direct result of how many clients we are able to serve and how many people we're able to help. And when it comes back to things, it's like, I just can't wait to like continue to serve my community and our clients. Like that's what really matters.
One of the things that surprised me was actually how easy it was.
Yeah.
How like sometimes when you set a goal, you're setting a goal and like there's like an uncertainty or there's like but there was no question for us. We were just like, hey, this would be so fun. It would be so awesome. And then literally like halfway through the month, we were just laughing because we're like, we're literally gonna blow this right out of the water.
We're like, we're almost there.
It's not even, yeah, it was so funny. But that was the best part about it, is like when you take inspired action, when you're in alignment with what you're doing, and when you're showing up every day and you're like, hey, I'm all in on this, like I'm totally ready, it always works. It always falls in alignment with you. And sure, you're gonna have periods where you reap the the seeds that you sow, and there's some periods in life where you're actually gonna have to spend time sowing seeds. But if you do both consistently, you're going to consistently be reaping something. There, like people always coming to to work with you, especially with your membership, right? Like I think how many people is there already? I think there's got to be well over 50, I think, at this point, right? Or 50
Yeah,
something.
I think there's almost 60 people. I'm actually gonna check right now because I'm so interested. It's like 53 people.
Yeah, see, that's incredible in literally 1 month.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, it's huge, because even if you like think about it this way, which I find it so interesting, right? When we had the studio, right? Do you know what our maximum membership was at the studio? Do you remember? I remember these things because I'm a loser.
Maximum membership.
Yeah, like the maximum amount of people we had at our boutique
No.
studio. Okay? We had 109. That was our maximum. So the fact that literally in 1 month that you expanded this phenomenal membership, which truly, like, it's so phenomenal. People are messaging you, and like it blows my mind, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I'm just so grateful to be in this community. It's so beneficial. Like you've changed me so much.
Yeah.
And to do that, but expand it with literally like 50 people in 1 month is huge,
Yeah.
And that to me is just like it's that testament of like, if you're showing up consistently, if you're doing the things and you just have a joy when you're doing stuff, you have a joy when you're making actions, that's fun. That's when it becomes fun. That's when it becomes effortless. And we don't chase it for the specific goal. Like Lorna said, it wasn't really about like, oh, if we don't hit this number, we're going to be like so upset. It was just fun. And
just creates excitement, just like with anything, at the start of a new journey, or whether you're working on hormones, you're working on your relationship with food, you're starting a business, whatever. It's like so easy to get excited at the beginning. And then it's like, the things that Andrew and I do is like, we are constantly celebrating ourselves. Like every single time we reach a new milestone, or, a new client is excited to work with us, like we're literally like jumping up and down, like we're so excited. And it's just, you need that excitement. And when you're excited and you're passionate about what it is that you do, it's like you take inspired action, you take action in alignment, and you get so much further along with your goals because you're not like pushing and you're not forcing. And this is really like the masculine and feminine energy. I used to be so in my masculine, like there's a right way to do things, there's a wrong way to do things. If you're not doing it this way, you're not doing it right. And instead it's like, now I really I step into like my feminine energy, which is like listening to my intuition and like really feeling what feels right for me, and then taking inspired action out of that. And things just feel so much more fun. And I think a lesson of this is, I think a lot of people believe if you need to reach a goal, you have to be like working your ass off. And don't get me wrong, like we work hard, like we put in the work, we are very consistent, like we put in the work. You cannot get to your goal without taking action. Like you need to take action. But it also gets to be easy and it gets to be fun. And how can you find ways to go about having fun while reaching your goal? Because what's the point of reaching a goal if you were burnt out the whole time or you hated every moment? Like it's not even worth getting to the goal that you have if you've hated every single moment. Like you're supposed to enjoy, they say enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. Like that's the fun of it. Like we reached this goal, which is amazing. But what was even better was like every single day we look forward to like waking up and working on our business and helping our clients. Like that's what was really exciting.
I think where people kind of get stuck, and you talked about it from the action piece, is like people do like 90% action and they only spend like 10 to maybe 15% tops in the belief, in their vision, in their why, in their actual like manifesting what comes to you. And it's always like think, belief, and then it's like clarifying goals, and then it's action. Action is always one of the last things that you do, and it's actually only 10%. Right. And if you think about it, like even just using an example, if this floor is like the creakiest floor in the world. I don't know. Maybe it's my weight.
Your socks or something.
I don't know. Like I'm sitting on this thing. And,
maybe you keep stepping on that.
No, it's like here or something. It's all good. But essentially, like if you think about it like a target, if someone has a focus, they see the target, they spend time lining up their sights, they spend time making sure that they're checking their gear and their equipment, and they put more of a focus. When they fire one shot, when they do just one thing, it's a lot more effective. It's a lot more closer to the goal than it is for you to just not prep, show up randomly fire all over the place, not be clear where you're hitting. And that's where sometimes if you ever come across people who they're like, wow, like they just seem to, everything they touch just seems to work. Everything they put in their life just seems to continuously change. It's really because they're super clear on what they want. Like me and Lorna, we are absolutely clear on where we want to go, what we want to do, the things that we want to focus on. Me and Lorna are always sharing our goals and our dreams with each other. And because of that, we're actually manifesting it a lot faster. And that's also the benefit of like being with a group of like-minded people and having people around you support that. You're manifesting through them the different changes, right? And as that energy continues to snowball and build, like that's where you start to see changes in yourself in all aspects.
Totally. And even for myself, like, I'm part of a year membership of a business coach that I work with. And, it's like there's constant momentum and people are constantly sharing their vision and their goals. And I'm like, damn, if that person can do that, like, I can do that. And it just really keeps you in that like excited energy. And I know you have like the men's group and stuff as well too, that keeps you excited. And it's true, like, who you surround yourself with, it's not just like a bullshit myth of like, oh, surround yourself with the people that you want to be like, but it becomes your reality. Like I don't surround myself with people who don't have crazy ass goals. Like I literally just feel like I don't even belong. If somebody doesn't have a goal or like a big dream, like I can't surround myself with them. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to say I can't surround myself around them, but I'm like, I want to be around those dreamers and those believers and people who are like doing big things in the world, because that's where I'm going. So it only makes sense. And, you know, they always say like, surround yourself with people who are so much further along than you. And I do that. I'm like, holy shit, like that person is, you know, so far ahead of me. And I'm like, that's exactly why I want to be in the room with them, because I want to calibrate to their energy. I want to be able to see like what's possible. If they can do it, so can I.
Yeah. I want to share a story about that because I do my men's calls every Wednesday, right? And I was having this conversation, sharing with them that there are some days where, again, everyone wakes up, and even, me and Lauren experience this occasionally too, where we're just like, the effort that we have to put in, it just feels like a huge mountain that's in front of us. Or sometimes you don't want to take struggled action, but you have to break that barrier, right? And as I was sharing this kind of with the group of guys, they really shared something with me, which I want to share with all of you, is like, when you surround yourself with the right people, there is no way you can fail. Failure doesn't exist, because everyone there is there to hold space, is there to give energy, and is there to basically show you, like, the only way you fail is if you stop doing, if you stop making changes, if you, like, once you stop, that is truly failure. But otherwise, there's no such thing as failure. You're only learning lessons, and each lesson you learn gets you closer to the goal. So that was the first thing that they shared with me, and I was like, oh, that's right. And then the second thing is I expressed with them, sometimes I feel like I have a fear of falling behind, that I don't want to fall off track, or that I don't want to revert because we're doing so well in business and go backwards, or even with our health, because me and Lorna are taking some things that we want to put a focus on and just even show up to be better. I don't want to fall behind. And then this is what they shared with me too. The beauty of a group is you don't fall behind, because everyone will literally continue to walk you forward. As long as you keep showing up in the group, having those core group of people that you can trust, having a coach that's there to support you, even if on one day you only have 5% to give, guess what? You're moving forward. There's momentum from other people that continues to literally drag you along. It's impossible to go backwards when you're surrounded with the right people, and it's impossible to fail when you have people around you who literally are only going to help you continue to grow. And that's, part of the reason why I think we've gone as far as we have, is because we surrounded ourselves with the right people really quick.
Yeah.
We took that time to, I know, like, in your experiences and working with the coaches, like the past 2 years, right? You really took that time to be like, this person, I'm totally in alignment with them. It makes sense with what I want to achieve. They fit in terms of with where my direction is. And that's what's allowed you to catapult really so quickly. Right. Is just seeing that change. So I think that's super important to say, because a lot of people go to the groups for accountability. A lot of people try to find friends maybe because they can learn tools quicker, but really it's about energy, it's about moving yourself forward, and it's about seeing that long-term change through. And
I love that phrase of like, you cannot fail unless you stop trying. And I even wrote down, like, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback of a way that didn't work. And I love that so much, because sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I've tried so many different things, nothing worked, I'm a failure. But first of all, the fact that you're trying, you're not a failure, right? Like, you're committed to growth, you're committed to evolution, you're committing to find a solution. But also it's like, you didn't fail, you just found a way that didn't work. And that's what we're constantly like, we're constantly trying different things. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Instead of being like, oh, we're just going to throw in the towel, that way didn't work, well, nothing will work. It's like, okay, that way didn't work. Like, I'm going to find a different way that will work. It's like, oh, now I know what didn't work. Okay, let me continue to find something that does work. And it's just like redirecting your mind and like not seeing, failure as like this bad thing. But like, I don't ever look at anything that I've done as a failure. I'm just like, okay, that way didn't work. How can I find a way to make it work?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think having a good relationship with failure, whatever word you want to say, is actually very healthy. Because if you're not quote unquote failing, or like things aren't going your way, you're probably not pushing yourself far enough in terms of goals, because like it's okay if things didn't work out. Like you can try a different way. You know what I mean? Like
I get what you're saying. Like, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Like, could you imagine if you knew that you could jump 20 feet, but you keep setting the bar at 5, and you're like, I'm making the jumps every time? That's actually not going to excite you. Like,
no,
you're going to
it's
jump over and
boring.
you're going to be like, oh, wow, this totally sucks. I can do it. Like, some of the most fulfilling things, and whether it was in, like, you know, and I haven't done jujitsu in a while, but like, when I did jujitsu, like, what was it, like 6 years ago ish?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. The first thing that attracted me to jujitsu was, like, I walked in and I was like, okay, I got a little bit of martial arts experience, I'll be fine. And this guy literally picked up my whole body and just full on, he literally threw me like I was just a rag doll. And then I got up and I was like, wow, I suck. But that was like exciting, because I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get better, to like just challenge myself and to do that. It actually didn't occur to me like, oh wow, that didn't work. And I feel like sometimes where people get this bad relationship with failure is typically through education, like schools, where a bad grade means that you did bad. Where, like, I'll be the first to say, like, I was a terrible student, like my grades were not great, but I was just like, you know what, I'm going to keep showing up, I'm going to keep doing the things that I'm interested in. And then sure enough, you just continuously progress, right?
There's people that fear failure. So I'm not going to take action because what if I fail? But to me, that's kind of a failure in and of itself, because you're not trying, versus you try something and it didn't work. It's like, I would always rather try something that didn't work than just not try in fear of disappointment, because that's disappointing in and of itself. Like, if I think about, you know, at the beginning of this episode, we were just saying how I've had like over 400 podcast episodes. If I literally go back to like the first podcast episode, I'm sure I was probably stumbling, or like even my first live stream, like some of the videos that I watch of me, I'm like so cringe. I'm like, this is so embarrassing. But I got to where I am because I was willing to just try. I was willing to just go for it. You know, whether it's relationship with food, your health, or starting a business, or your career, or whatever it is, it's like, you're only going to get better if you keep trying. Like, you literally can't not get better if you just keep growing and keep learning and keep evolving. Like, you're only going to get better. Like, and that's the exciting part. It's like, oh, well, I don't want to try because, like, what if it doesn't work? But imagine if you started today, where you would be in a month from now. Like, even with just these episodes, we are on episode 19. Imagine if we're like, oh, I don't know if I should do it because, like, what if nobody listens? And like, this is so stupid. Like, there's not even a point. Like, we wouldn't have had 19 golden episodes for you guys. Like, you just gotta start. You gotta just take that leap and start. And that's what creates a ripple effect. And then you can get feedback and you can be like, hey, this doesn't work. Like, for example, we used to record like every other week, and we're like, whoa, way too much. And then we dial back, and you learn what works, you learn what doesn't work, and then you can make adjustments, versus like, oh, I can't start until things need to be so perfect. We got to figure everything out. Like, just freaking record one of the episodes we have in our car. The audio is absolutely garbage, but it doesn't matter. You did it. We did it. And that's it. And we're going to get better. Like, that's just the way that it is, you know?
Continuous improvement.
I think the other thing I want to bring up is Andrew and I have decided for like mid-November, we really wanted to focus more on our health even more. And we'll probably do like an entire podcast episode when we finally kind of realize like what that will actually look like. But one thing,
I think that we have a few of the solid pieces in play that I think we can share today, right? Like, we definitely know what we want to do in terms of the water, whatever. So I think we can share some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
You can talk about the water.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I think that we really have been nailing is like a nighttime routine. And I have an entire podcast episode on my nighttime routine, but I feel like that's been really good just in terms of like our health. We've been going to bed at a very similar time, putting our phones away, using our blue light blocker glasses, our weighted
I
blanket.
use the blue light blocker glasses way more than you do.
Andrew uses it all day. It's so funny. Like he's like up at 5 a.m. with these glasses on, and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he still has them on. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. It's the ultimate way to remove blue light, right?
Oh my
So I look
gosh.
like Austin Powers with the
Yeah.
orange glasses.
He complains. He's like, I don't know why I have a headache. I'm like, because you're wearing these glasses all day long. Like, but the nighttime routine, we've been like really mastering. Like that's been really, really good. And then our water system, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so essentially we decided that we had been learning a lot of different things, and like as coaches, I'll be the first to say we don't know everything. There's information that changes all the time. There are things that we don't know. So when we bought this house 2 years ago, we bought a water treatment system because our water was really hard. It was calcified water, but it actually didn't do anything to remove fluoride from the water. It didn't do anything to pull out any of the hormones that are kind of floating in there. And most treatment plants actually don't take hormones out of the water. So when we were looking at ways that we could further better our health, we found this True Water system, which was really great. It has a filter to help alkalinize the water, which makes it easier to digest. It has a filter that actually puts in 30 essential minerals into the water, because most of the minerals in the water you actually get bare bones kind of from your tap. And then there's actually a carbon filter which filters out the rest of the chemicals. So for us, like our bodies are made up of more than 80% water. So it's like, why would you be fueling yourself or drinking with water that's actually not clean, that potentially might have hormonal residue or that might have other things in it? So for us, like we're really conscious of our water intake. That's something that was really important to us. So we were like, you know what, we're going to go and get this system. We're excited because it's literally going to be installed next week, which will be awesome. And then we can start using that. We had to wait a bit for it to come in, but our biggest thing is with the amount of water that we're drinking, it really is important for us to get the best quality water, because there's no point in drinking the water if you can't absorb it, if there's chemicals in it, and if you're just not getting proper nutrients.
Even when it comes to like cooking, you know, and like even if we're boiling pasta or whatever, and it's like, I don't want to be using like the tap water, you know, so this is like a reverse osmosis system, and we're really excited about that. It's like so funny how we get excited like a water system.
Yeah, we get excited about all the random stuff, like water, and people are like, what?
And I think, you know, when it comes to your health, it's like there's so many things that you could be doing, and it's really about like just taking it one step at a time. Like, you know, we have our cold plunge. Andrew's been doing the cold plunge
religiously.
I've been taking like, you know, contrast showers because like it is still really cold for me. But you know, it's like one step at a time. It's like when it comes to your health, there's so many things that you can be doing to improve. And even Andrew and I, like, yeah, we're healthy people, but there's always more things that you can do. Like, I want to be the healthiest version of myself, and health is not just workouts and what you eat, you guys. Like, health is your brain, health is, you know, gut, health is inflammation, health is internal, health is mental. Like, there's so many aspects to health. And, you know, we're taking it one step at a time as well too, and just kind of seeing what's important for us, you know, what we value, and, you know, we're going to keep building from there.
Absolutely. Because I think the biggest thing is, you know, most people, when you start to make more money, or when you have more income to spend stuff on, you immediately start buying all of these things where you're like, oh great, I can now go and redo a wall or do this. And we almost got kind of swept up in that, where we're like, hey, look, there's tons of stuff we could do around the house. But it's like, actually, if we're waking up and we're not feeling as energized as we could be, how can we change that? Or if we're not happy with the water that we're getting, like, how can we change that? How can we make things so that we can actually show up, we have more energy, we have less inflammation, we feel better? Because when you feel better, you perform better. When you perform better, you're going to make more money, you're going to have better impactful relationships. Like, I want to show up as the best version of me for the people I work with, my relationship with Lorna, for my family. I can't do that if I'm not fueling my body right. And that's so important. So, our value systems are definitely, I mean, they're kind of outside the norm than what I think most people experience, but they're not extremes. Like we're not weighing every almond on our plate. We're not like, we're a bit practical lifestyle. And it's like, what can we do every single day that's simple? Like even the cold plunge, right? 2 minutes a day. It's not a lot, but literally you can pick up a cold plunge tub for $140, and for 2 minutes a day you sit in ice, and it's really great for inflammation. I know it's been saving.
I think we actually have a code for that. You guys can message us. I think there's like a long ass code, but we can give it to you, or something like that.
But I mean, for us, like it's been hugely beneficial just from the inflammation perspective, right? And then obviously, like I'm, going to take that next step and probably do a full body assessment as well too. So we've found a company that is actually like, it's going to be like full body x-rays, ultrasounds, like full panel blood work. And I'm doing all of that because I want to see like, where am I at? Where can I continue to improve? Because if I can just show up and be 1% better, I'm going to be able to live longer, and I'll experience a more wholesome life.
Yeah, I think we'll do like an entire podcast episode about our health. Because there's certain things that Andrew's going to be doing for his health. There's certain things that I want to prioritize for my health as well too. And we can do an entire podcast episode on that. But I think that'll be fun. Like once we kind of sort everything out, because we have different prioritized, things that we want to prioritize. But I think this is like a pretty good recap for the month of November. We had an amazing November, and like we definitely need to celebrate. We're probably gonna well,
we got my birthday coming up. That's what we
but we can talk about that. Okay, I planned his birthday and he has no idea what it's about. And I planned it, and I'm super excited. And you guys will hear that in the next episode because his birthday is December 29th. So then you'll hear it afterwards. But I have an amazing thing planned for him, which he has no idea about, but I'm excited.
I can't wait.
He keeps on saying, he's like, can you tell me? And I'm like, you don't actually want to know.
True.
You think you want to know because like you want to get excited.
What I want to know is if it's something that I like.
Yes, he thinks that I'm just booking something that I'm going to enjoy. Like,
I don't know. Obviously, I know that you would pick something that I like, right? But you're like, oh, it's 2 hours away, and I'm like, okay, I hope I like it. But I know I'm going to. I know it's going to be fantastic. So we will share that with you guys on the next episode. But we appreciate you guys and gals for tuning in.
Yeah, have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of Getting Real with the Costas.
Bye.
Well, it seems I'm all out of info juice for today. That's all for this episode, and thank you so much for listening. Please leave a raving review for me if you've learned something good, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're in the mood for some more great content and tools to get your hormones on track, why not check out our free Facebook group and the blog on our site? We do amazing weekly trainings in our group that me and my wife call Tea and Teachings that give good tips for anything hormones and metabolism related. It's also a great community where you get to share your goals and success with like-minded people just like you. I'll make sure to drop both the Facebook group link and the blog link in the show notes for you. Or if you're ambitious like me, the name of the group is Weight Loss and Balanced Hormones. It'll say Fit for All beside it with a picture of me. So come and join us and have more fun.